My next guest company produces a key element for one type of battery, the metal vanadium. American Vanadium is currently developing the only U.S. domestic vanadium mine. And Bill Radvak is the company's CEO. He is here with us in studio today. I was telling you, Bill, during the break, I had never heard of vanadium until today. But this really gets to the heart of the big challenge with renewable energy, right? How do you keep it around? Whether you're talking about solar or wind, which are intermittent sources, you need something to keep it going, to keep providing power. So how does vanadium sort of play into that?
Yeah, actually, they've determined it's really probably the big missing key now. They've worked hard on all sorts of renewable energies, actually creating the wind farms and solar farms. Now the Department of Energy is actually referring to the electric grid as the world's largest supply chain without a warehouse. So essentially you're either using it or dumping it, and you end up making it for your peak periods. So you're expanding the electrical grid with new substations for those peak times. So now they're really changing the focus towards providing these mass storage devices so they can store power during the evening when it's cheap and available, and then they can use it in the peak time rather than continue to build more and more billions of dollars worth of infrastructure.
So what is vanadium? What is a vanadium battery?
Right. Yeah, vanadium itself it's been around for many decades, primarily simply as a metal hardener, and so just a little bit of vanadium in your steel and your structural steel and rebar will make it 50 to 100% stronger. So that's been the history. It's now shifting. They're starting to develop and commercialize these mass storage batteries made of vanadium. So they're called vanadium flow batteries. And actually, President Obama mentioned it in a speech a number of months ago and said it's the coolest thing he ever said. Imagine he'd never heard of it either. But it really is the best technology moving forward. There's going to be a number of solutions for the storage. Vanadium batteries are essentially just big vats of vanadium and sulfuric acid. And it's a really unique metal that it's both the positive and negative side. And so it's not a pure chemical reaction, it's more of an electrical reaction happening in there. So these things will charge and discharge instantly, and they'll do it thousands and thousands of times. So the last 20 years. I mean, the vanadium in these batteries will be there long past the pumps and the electrical parts.
So in your mine, which is in Nevada,
yes.
Correct? Are you getting it out of the ground yet? When do you expect to start producing, if not?
Yeah, we're actually at the stage of completing our bankable feasibility study this quarter, so it's a big key part for us, and looking to expand that resource. So we're now into the permitting phase. So far, we're on federal land, so we're going through the BLM, and the discussions have been really proactive. They are keenly aware of the need to move strategic metals forward in the process. So we're optimistic. If the permitting goes well, it could be in production in less than 18 months.
And how many are these in wide use yet? If not, what's sort of the obstacle to that happening?
They're actually being commercially sold in Europe and in Asia so far, and those are the countries and the companies that have focused. Companies are looking, but probably one of the biggest factors has been historically the price and price volatility of vanadium. So that's why it's important for us to really push hard, work with the government and some of the developing companies, because we want to look at some fully integrated solution for the U.S. here, where we can provide sort of a stable long-term supply, which for our company will be a better price than the price we sell into the steel market. But we can actually do a really good thing. So that's why we're getting a pretty strong reaction so far, now that we're moving down to the later stage of development.
Well, I was just reading an article in Discover magazine about this. It put the price at $500 a kilowatt hour, which is pretty stratospheric, I think. Yeah. I can say. So what do you do to get it more stable? I mean, you said you're talking to folks. How does that happen, that you bring it down? Well,
and you have to look at those numbers also in terms of all the different things. They're looking away from some of those, looking at the long term, where these vanadium batteries will be there in 20 years, and you'll still have the vanadium in it to reuse over and over. So when you're looking at the long-term benefits, the prices come down dramatically. For us, we're looking at different finance models to actually bring to help into introductory price low and spread it out.
Okay, Bill, I'm sorry, we're out of time. Bill Radvak is the president and CEO of American Vanadium.